It's a regular day in high school. I'm in between classes, and I'm sitting on a bench just minding my own business. On the benches across from me, a large group of boys and girls are sitting grouped together, chatting and laughing. As I get up, my pants get caught in the bench, and I hear a ripping sound. I immediately think, this is so embarrassing. They're all going to see what's happened and are going to stare at me and laugh. I try to get my pants loose, and by the time I manage to look up at the bench across from me, I realize nobody's looking at me or even noticing me at all. It is as if I'm not there. This is how I felt during all my adolescence and even afterwards. Transparent, invisible. I wanted to disappear. I wanted to be like a turtle and to hide in my shell. My body reacted to that too. Physically, I became thinner than what I am today. Can you imagine that? I feared social interaction. I feared face-to-face conversations. I feared all types of gatherings. After high school, I came to a conclusion. I want to be seen. A person cannot live without being seen. A person's existence is not meaningful without visibility. So I tried to become that person that I thought others would want me to be. Someone others would want to see. A persona who isn't me. I chose to study a degree in law and communications. I thought I could be that lawyer who fights crime and protects the poor and yells objection in court. But guess what? It didn't work. I was seen, I was visible, but it wasn't me. How long can you play a character that isn't you? Things started to change as I dared to look within myself, see myself, talk to myself. I questioned myself and I asked, Adi, what do you really love to do? What is your passion in life? My answer was people. I was always curious about people, even though I had been afraid of them for years. I realized I actually love people. I envisioned myself as a talk show interviewer. I wanted to interview everyone. I wanted to interview people I didn't know, to get to know them, to see them, their lives, their passions, their motivations. It took me a while to understand that I don't have to be Oprah Winfrey to create that reality, that I can use my curiosity, creativity, intuition, and a small video camera to create that. My own street talk show. In just one moment, it hit me. I can do just that. This is how the Street Interviews project was born. I walk the streets with a camera and ask people if they will be willing to be interviewed. At first, I thought it was a crazy idea. I thought people wouldn't agree to be interviewed and certainly wouldn't agree to be so intimate and exposed in front of a stranger. But wow, was I wrong? People almost always agree. Not only do they agree, they're actually happy to have somebody listening to their story. I put a spotlight on them, even if it's only for a moment. I ask them intuitive questions about them, about their lives. There are those who are a bit suspicious or uncomfortable at first, but by the end of the interview, I see a sparkle in their eyes too. Let me share with you some of my street interviews experiences. Meet David. I approached him because I liked his suspenders. When I asked him, what makes you feel sad? He was so honest, and he replied, lack of love. And when I asked him, what makes you feel happy? He said, among other things, eating ice cream. Ronnie's answer to the same question about happiness was to create. He also said, I have a saying, create, don't hate. Ronnie is an artist, and after the interview was over, he invited me to his home to see his artwork. I met Vivian in a cafe at Vietnam. She immediately opened up to me and she told me that her friend was killed at the age of 25, a short time before the interview. That made her realize life was so fragile and too short, so she couldn't waste any more time, and she's going to do what she really loves doing, traveling the world. Amira happily agreed to be interviewed. She told me that new people she meets always tend to tell her their deepest secrets. When I asked her what she thinks the reason for that might be, she replied, because I listen to them. Simple, right? After the interview was over, Lior told me, wow, that felt like an hour of therapy. These experiences made me realize that some of the people were just waiting to have somebody asking them questions about themselves. When I first started interviewing, people would ask me, what is the purpose of this project? I didn't know. I only knew that this project forces me to interact, to break out of my shell, to see others, and to be seeing myself. Today, after 3 years of interviewing, I understand that through interacting with strangers, listening to their stories, hearing their voices, I feel visible again. By making other people feel visible and be seen, I also feel visible, present, valuable. I believe we can see our reflection in each person we interact with. I believe that visibility is an internal feeling. I know today I am not the only person who has felt invisible. I know there are many, many teenagers and adults who feel this way. In our world, it's so easy to escape to technological means when we are socially uncomfortable. It's easy to become turtles these days. So, to all of you turtles out there, if you feel invisible, I want you to know you can find that feeling of visibility. Try to interact with strangers. Try to truly see them and let them see you. Now, I'm not expecting you to go out on the streets and interview like I did. So one way you can start practicing is by asking one extra question after the usual, hello, how are you doing today? It's that one extra question that creates the interaction. Use those moments when you are surrounded by strangers, whether it be sitting on the bus or chatting with the cashier at the supermarket, or sitting in the audience in a TEDx event, but after I finish talking. Honestly, it was difficult for a turtle like me to interact with strangers. And hey, I'm standing in front of you today, and I'm here without my shell. Try interacting. Break out of your shell. Just start. See what happens. Thank you.